As we're sitting here, breathing in and out, we're also taking this time to forget everything that's happened in the week or the day thus far. We may not know what day it is anymore right now. Maybe it's all just one big blur. Little moments of anxiety bubbling to the surface. Just let them go. With every exhale, feel yourself relax just a little bit more. Shoulders relaxing away from the ears. Teeth unclenching. Chin softening away from the skull. Eyes are soft in their sockets. And if it feels nice, and if you'd like to, you can take the thumb, one of your thumbs, and just massage into that third eye area there. We may not even realize it, but we're probably frowning just a little bit. So just go ahead in there and just massage out any tension. Draw little tiny circles with the pad of the thumb. Now that we've come to a little bit of a place of stillness, we can begin to maybe engage now that belly that was soft and relaxed before. Let's see if we can wake up some of those abdominal muscles. Just pull the belly button ever so gently in and up. Feel yourself get a little taller as that happens. And as you breathe and inhale, feel the air really coming up and into the upper part of the abdomen and the thorax and into the heart. Shoulders stay relaxed. Belly pulls in a little bit further on the exhale. Do that 3 more times. Inhale. Really feel yourself getting nice and tall and inflated. And then exhale. Just start to knit all of those muscles together, all those fibers together. Almost like you're tightening a corset around the center of the abdomen. Last time, inhale. And exhale. We're the tallest that we have been all day. Now we can slowly flutter the eyes open. Come to hands and knees in tabletop position now. So move any props or your blanket that you had out of the way. Hands are directly beneath shoulders or maybe just a little bit further away from you. Fingertips are spread really nice and wide here. Root down into the mat with all 10 fingers. Hips stacking directly over knees. Just take a moment here to find that strength in that core that we just started to wake up there. So feel the belly button again drawing in and up towards the back body. Crown is nice and long. Gaze is just below us in front of our fingertips here so that we're not crunching in the neck. One long line coming out from the top of the head and back down through the tailbone out the back of the body here. Check in with our pelvis here, maybe rock it back and forth, up and down a couple of times. You can feel what that arching low back feels like, and then also what that tucked tailbone would feel like. And let's find somewhere in the middle where there's a natural curvature in the spine. Maybe you can wiggle side to side a little bit, loosen it up. And just take one big inhale here, and then exhale it all in a sigh. One more time, inhale here. Exhale, sigh it out. Maybe let the tongue hang out a little bit. Then we'll do a few cycles of cat and cow here. So we'll inhale to roll the shoulders back, drop the belly, look up now. And then exhale to push the mat away from you. Tuck the nose into the chest, rounding the back. 2 more times. Inhale, lift the tail, look up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under the spine. Nose comes right into the chest here. Last time, inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. And then exhale, push the mat away from you, really pressing up between the shoulder blades. And then exhale to come back to neutral spine. Now get really strong through the left arm here. Maybe even walk that hand a little bit closer in towards the midline of the body. We'll inhale to reach the right arm forward and then send the left leg back nice and long here, making sure that we're not dropping the belly into the ground. Keep lifting through that midsection, pressing into the mat with the left hand. Take one big inhale here, reach front and back, really as far as long as you can go. And then exhale, elbow comes to knee, spine rounds here. 2 more times. Inhale to reach forward, get nice and long, stretch, 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 stretch. Exhale, rounding the spine, lifting the belly. Last time, inhale, reach forward here as far as you can go. And then exhale, really feel that compression. We'll send it out long one last time to then replace the knee and the hand on the earth. We'll re-find our balance here as we send our balance over onto the right side of the body, pressing down through that palm. We'll inhale, reach the left arm forward, kick right leg back. Now toes can either be flexed or pointed here, it doesn't matter. Whatever you need to do to keep that engagement all the way through, all the way from the toes up to the fingertips. Inhale here, stretch and reach. Exhale, rounding the spine, knee comes to nose. Inhale, reach up nice and long. Exhale, round the spine, elbow and knee touch. Last time, inhale to reach forward, get long. Exhale, crunch into each other. Exhale, inhale, and then exhale to come back through tabletop here. So just take a couple moments to rinse that out, maybe shift side to side, maybe do a couple little hip circles, front and back. If it feels good to do another round of cat and cow, go for it. And then we'll just take a moment to draw some circles with the wrist here, just to loosen up any tension that may have developed there. We'll replace the hands, really root ourselves down, pull that low belly back in, and then step the right toes and then the left toes back for high plank. Option always here to keep the knees lowered. I'll demo on the knees, but you can always stay up nice and high on the toes, reaching out through those heels. One inhale here, roll the shoulders back away from the ears. Neck is nice and long, and then we'll exhale to come down only halfway through chaturanga. Hold here for a moment, and then press back up through the hands, straighten the arms. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, exhale, release only halfway. Elbows are squeezing into rib cage, and then press back through the palms. 1 more time. Inhale, exhale, come halfway, holding here, really squeezing elbows into the ribs, and then we'll lower all the way down to the floor, relaxing belly into mat here. Roll the shoulders back away from the ears, press down through the toes, lift the kneecaps up off of the mat. We'll take fingertips nice and long in front of us on the mat. You might want to shift back a little bit. Pinky fingers, I should say, are on the ground. Thumbs are flexing up towards the sky. Just look down at the mat right in front of your nose here. Take a couple of rib breaths to reset. Press down to that pubic bone. And then on the inhale, we'll lift the head to chest ever so slightly and float the hands up off the earth. Exhale, release. 1 more time. Inhale, lift the hands, float the head and the chest. Exhale, release. Last time, we'll try floating everything up nice and long for like a Superman flying locust, lifting toes, pressing down through the pubic bone, hands, heart floating up. Get a little bit higher on the inhale, and then exhale, release it down to the earth. Take hands underneath shoulders now. Relax the forehead into the mat. Maybe turn side to side the head. Release any tension in the neck there. And then we'll press down through the palms, send the hips up. Go back through tabletop here, then tuck the toes, and then we'll send the hips all the way up and back for downward facing dog. Maybe take a couple seconds to pedal it out here, whatever you need. Checking in again with that pelvis and that low back. Are we arching and allowing the ribs to flare down towards the earth? Maybe pull them up and in, knit them together at the same time as you allow the shoulders to draw up and away from the ears. One big breath here. Exhale, side out. One more time, inhaling. Exhale, side out. And then we'll bend the knees, lift the hands, and take a nice big step to the top of the mat. And then we'll inhale to go all the way up to standing. Arms up to the sky, look up to the fingertips. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a moment here to root down through all four corners of the feet. Roll shoulders down and away from the ears. Press the palms together, really strong. Heart is pressing into thumbs. Eyes can be closed. Tailbone is long towards the ground. We'll go through 3 cycles of Surya Namaskar A, sun salutations, to get some nice heat into the body. Our practice tonight is a little bit of a yin-yang practice. So we're starting with the yang, giving a little bit of energy, flushing out the system, and then we'll end with a few nice, long, deep tissue and fascia stretches. We'll just take one inhale to prepare. Exhale, release. And then we'll soften the knees, release the hands. Inhale to reach the arms up, look up. Exhale, dive fingertips towards the mat. Inhale, bring hands to shins, come up halfway. Exhale, plant the palms, step back through plank, lowering halfway through chaturanga or all the way down to the mat. We'll inhale to roll the shoulders back, squeeze the elbows in, press up through the palms, cobra. Exhale, come back down through tabletop and upward, downward facing dog. One breath here. Exhale, release. Bend the knees, look to the hands, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, soften the knees to come all the way back up through standing with up the fingertips. And then exhale, hands to heart center. 2 more times, soften the knees. Inhale, look up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway. Exhale, plant the palms, step or hop back, lowering halfway to chaturanga. On inhale, pressing down through the palms, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. One breath here. Exhale, bend the knees, lift the hands, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way back up through standing. Last time, we'll just dive right forward here. Fingertips to the mat. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway. Exhale, plant the palms, step or hop back, lowering through chaturanga or all the way to the belly. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll pause here for 3 breaths. Inhale, exhale, and a sigh. One more time, inhale. Nice and big, exhale, side out. Now we'll kick that right leg up nice and high to the sky, reaching the toes up, pressing down evenly between the hands. You can bend the knee, and then just turn to look towards the right side of the mat, opening up that hip. Maybe draw a couple little circles with the knee, one direction and the other. Kind of get some fluids working into that joint there. We'll straighten that leg, pointing the toes again as we inhale, and then exhale, step the hands, the right foot between the hands, and inhale to come all the way high up to high lunge, through high on the back toes, rooting down through the right heel. and the right big toe. Nice and tall here. Keep breathing. Keep lifting into that low belly. Breathing into the ribs. Inhale one more time, get tall. Exhale, send the upper body forward as fingertips sweep along inside the body for a runner's lunge. Hold here for one breath, and then we'll dance through that a couple of times. So exhaling here, we'll inhale to bring the fingertips up nice and high. Exhale, send them back, lean forward. 2 more times, inhale, come up nice and tall. Exhale, forward to runner's lunge. Last time, inhale. And then exhale. We'll hold here for just one moment. And then keeping that right knee nice and deeply bent, we'll step the left foot forward to meet the right, meeting Utkatasana chair pose. Arms can come up nice and high alongside the ears or just stretch out in front of the shoulders. Hips and pelvis are coming back. Weight is in the heels. We're squeezing between those up inner thighs together, just zipping them right up. Take one more breath here. And then exhale to fold forward, straighten the legs any amount. Relax here for just one moment. Release the weight of the head and the neck. And then we'll inhale to come up just about halfway. We'll take our left hand to our right shin. Now this could be where you would want maybe your block if you would like. If you want to come up a little bit higher, just place your hand on the block instead of on the shin. It's also good for a little bit of extra stability if you'd like. So placing that hand anywhere, shin or on the block. We'll inhale to bring the right hand up to the low back, just pressing into that sacrum, palm rooting down. And begin to open up towards the right side of the mat, elbow reaching to the sky. If you'd like to go a little bit further, if you feel like you have the space and the energy, you can reach that right arm up and open. All the time, thinking about turning that right hip down towards the earth, left hip up, so that we're not doing one of these. One more breath here. Exhale to release both fingers down to the earth. Just move that block out of the way. And then we'll step left foot back to right, pressing up, downward facing dog. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. We'll inhale to take the left leg up this time, pointing the toes nice and high. We'll bend the knee and open up to the left side of the mat. Draw circles with that knee, opening up the hip a little bit more. We'll send the pelvis now back towards the earth, stretching those toes up nice and high. And then we'll exhale, send the left foot between the hands. Inhaling to come up to high lunge. Breathing here, reaching out through the back heels. One more inhale, get nice and tall. Exhale, send the upper body forward over that left thigh, arms sweep back alongside. Inhale here. Exhale, release. Inhale to bring the arms up. Exhale, sweep, dive it forward. We're just dancing it out here a little bit. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, release. Pressing down through that left heel. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, coming forward over that left thigh. We'll keep really rooting down into that left heel as we step the right foot forward to meet the left. Squeeze those inner thighs together, really zip them together. Lift through that low belly, send the tail down even lower this time. As you inhale, the arms up alongside the ears. We're gonna hold here for 5 breaths. Keep breathing. Even exhale on the side to help. See with every exhale if you can sink just a little bit lower. One more inhale here. And then exhale, release it down to the earth, straighten out those legs. Forward fold. Shake the head and the neck. Yes and no. Then we'll inhale to come up halfway again. We'll take that block if you want it. Put on the side the left foot there. Right hand comes to left shin or onto the block. And then left hand comes to the sacrum, palm pressing down, elbow reaching for the sky. Just turning to look over that left shoulder. Lifting through the belly. So if you were placing any weight on the block, you could almost just float off of that. One more inhale here. And then exhale to release, hands down to the mat here. And then we'll plant the palms, step back through plank. One more inhale here. And then exhale, lower the knees, send the hips back to the heels. Come back to sit on the knees for just a moment. Take a moment to catch the breath. Now, if you have your props nearby, or if you don't have them nearby, this is your moment to go get them. Again, it's a blocker or some other apparatus. I had a bucket somewhere that you could use, or an upturned pot, anything, stack of books, a cushion or two. You might want something for your head or to put underneath the hips, and then also your blanket that we started with at the beginning of class. Send the knees nice and wide, almost as wide as the mat, or if not wider, whatever feels the most comfortable. Big toes come to touch. And then we'll just, keeping those hips nice and heavy into the feet, we'll start to walk forward so that our block and our pillow, or whatever it is that we have to support us, comes kind of just underneath the head or the chest, whatever feels comfortable for you. Maybe you want something sort of just right here. And then just relax here for a few moments. Arms are relaxed, shoulders can roll forward. Just allow everything to soften. If you find that you're having trouble getting the hips back, you can always take that cushion or that block or whatever it is that you have and put it underneath the bum, like so. That gets the hips up a little bit higher so that you can just really sink into that, and then just walk forward from there, resting the forehead onto the mat. So you've got options, depending on what feels the nicest for you. Just allow your breathing to come naturally. I'm not trying to force anything at this point. Now with the in, you hold postures for just a little bit longer. And so sometimes you might feel like at a certain point, you've had enough of that sensation. Just breathe through it. Breathe through that sensation. Welcome it, unless it really hurts, in which case then stop. But you're really getting into the more subtle fibers of the body. Just walking up to the edge. And confronting it a little bit. Getting comfortable with a little bit of discomfort. Isn't that what we're doing all the time, but especially right now? Feel the heart sink into the mat just a little bit more. Last inhale here. And then we'll slowly make our way out of the pose, out of the shape. Whatever way feels good to you. Maybe just walk the hands in underneath the shoulders. Press yourself back up. Move that block out from underneath you if it was there, or away from the face. Bring the knees very slowly together, very gently. We'll come forward now onto our hands and knees. We'll step the right foot up to the front of the mat. Hands are on the inside of the foot, so the foot is on the outside of our hands. And walk that foot just to the outside edge of the mat. Tuck the back toes, lift the left knee, and then see if you can stretch it just a little bit further back towards the back of the mat, and then release those toes. Coming into lizard, or in yin they call it dragon posture. And again, you can take your block here if you like, or whatever it is that you have, and use it to support you to stay up a little bit higher if that is where you feel more comfortable with the sensation. If not, you can use it also as a bit of a headrest, whatever you have there. If you have a cushion to put on top of it, that's really nice. And then just relax the forearms into the earth. I like to stay up on my hands a little bit more, just so that I'm really supporting the weight of the upper body with my hands and not with my knee joints at all. And I can really just allow the hip flexor to relax here and really get that deep, deep stretch. You can close the eyes, relax the head. Keep sending breath into that front hip there, that left hip. Feel it ever so slowly opening up. Almost like you're stretching pizza dough. That kind of sensation. And those glutinous fibers that keep the dough together. Getting thinner and thinner. This can be a super intense sensation. This is like, I mean, hips are super tight for a lot of people, most people. Just really, really work on breathing into that. And if you need to maybe just back it off a little bit, you can do so, and then just press down through that right heel, maybe lift up a little bit through the pelvis, and then sink back down into it for just a couple more breaths. You can do it. One last inhale here. And then we'll start to heel toe that right foot back in towards the center. Maybe bring both hands on either side of the foot. And then very slowly, very gently start to straighten out that right leg, sending hips back for a little bit of a counter stretch here. Keep a nice soft bend in that right knee. And then we'll come back forward onto that foot. And the right foot now, knee back to meet the left, and then we'll step forward with the left foot, repeating on the other side. So heel toe that foot out to the outside edge of the mat. Tuck the back toes, lift the right knee, and then just drag it back a little bit further away from the upper body, really opening up through that right hip now. If you're feeling a lot of sensation in that back knee, this is where your blanket can come in handy. Just tuck the blanket up underneath and then rest on there. Or you can always just roll up your mat a little bit, just fold it up like so. Just double it up. like that, if that feels better. Now maybe see, how does this side feel in comparison to the other side? Just observe it. No need to judge it. Check in for a moment with that right glute. Is it clenching? It might be. If you're right at the edge of that sensation and you're kind of holding a bit of tension there, see if you can just ask it to relax. Maybe even take the hand and just give your bum a little massage. Just a little wiggle. A few more breaths here. Now I'm trying to do the same amount of time on both sides here, but you might feel like you really want or crave more time on one side or the other. You can always go back and balance yourself out in the way that you feel balanced later on. For me in particular, it's this side. This hip flexor is extra tight, and so I always feel like I want a lot more time on this side than the other to really get into those tissues, deep tissues. One last inhale. And then we'll exhale, start to walk that left foot in towards the center of the body now. And then we'll press back through that foot to straighten that left leg just ever so slightly, keeping a nice little bend in the knee here. Just very gently coming out of the stretch, doing a little bit of a counter stretch through the right hamstring, or the left hamstring, I should say. And then we'll rebend that left knee, coming back onto the hand, step the left knee back to meet the right. Now we'll place the forearms on the mat directly in front of the shoulders. Hands can come palms down on the mat. And then we'll just lower all the way down to our bellies, coming into Sphinx pose here. So just let the glutes, let the legs relax. You're gonna feel a little tiny bit of compression in the low spine here. If it feels like too much, you can always just lower down a little bit more. The idea is that you do want that teeny amount of compression to create the smallest amount of stress into that low back in order to allow it to release after the fact. So there's a difference between yin and restorative yoga. Often they're offered together. Restorative is like full relaxation, a bajillion props, like you're not doing really any work. Whereas in yin, there's still some engagement. You're asking a lot of relaxation of the body, but there are still areas where you need to be present in order to get the full potential of the postures, of the shapes. And this is one of them. Much like lizard, you still want to be really supporting the weight of the upper body with the hands and the arms. So there's strength as well as just complete surrender. Again, you can relax the head here if you like. You could even bring your block or your pillow in front of you, or your little bucket with your pillow on top of it, and then just rest your forehead on there if you're feeling any tension in the neck. Taking 2 more breaths here. Nice, long, slow inhales. And exhales. Last inhale. And then exhale. Just release the upper body down to the mat. Just a little bit here. Maybe even rest the cheek on one of your hands with a little pillow. Now this is where all of the fluids that we're experiencing a little bit of a crunching, a little bit of a blockage, are now able to flow freely. There's like a bit of a rush, almost like when you take your finger and cover up the hose. And build up a bit of water pressure before you let it all out. And if you were resting maybe with the left cheek, maybe now turn the right cheek, rest on the other side. Just even out any kinks. And then we'll press back down through the forearms. And come back onto the arms again, elbows a little bit like right in front of the shoulders. And now we're going to straighten the arms now, coming into seal. So hands are going to come from this Sphinx position and just take them out to the corners of the top of the mat, straightening the arms any amount that feels good. We're going for a little bit more compression here in the low back. Ask the glutes to relax. Get more stretch also too through the front side of the body, through all the tissue, the fascia, through the abdominals. And you can also even open the hands up even wider if that feels nicer. And that might press you up a little bit higher. Whichever option you choose, just find the edge of that sensation, wherever you feel like you can hold it, where you can meet that feeling. And just kind of stare it down for a few moments. And then just stay there. One of the other challenges of yin is stillness. Especially when you're experiencing a little bit of discomfort, there's a tendency, totally subconscious, to shift, fidget. Try to find stillness in that little bit of discomfort. Again, arms are really active here. Try not to sink the upper arm bones into the shoulders and then create like that rounding in the upper back. Really press up through the palms. Ask the butt cheeks to relax again. Keep breathing. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale to release it all down to the mat again. Bring forehead now to the tops of the hands. Elbows out wide. You feel just a little bit of heat almost even? Almost like there's some electricity firing now through, out from the low spine, up towards the neck maybe, towards the head, down towards the feet. Rest here for another 10 seconds. And then we'll bring hands underneath shoulders. And then press down through the palms to push ourselves back up, tabletop. Again, step the right foot forward. And then lift up the back knee, shift it back a little bit further away from us. And then we'll heel toe that right foot over towards the left side of the mat. Getting now ready for our pigeon pose, or our swan pose is what they call it in yin. Now, again, if you've got really tight hips and hamstrings, you're gonna take your block or your cushion or whatever it is that you have and set it up so that your right hip is gonna rest on there. And then just shift over so that you can just rest that hip right down. Even if you don't have super tight hips, it's kind of a nice thing to do just to offer yourself that little bit of extra support. Now, if you can't keep the shin parallel with the top edge of the mat, that's fine. Bring the heels in closer towards the body. Just whatever you do, flex the foot or point the toes so that you're protecting the ankle and the knee joint. And then once you're comfortable here, you can walk the fingers forward so you can come down onto the forearms. Just release the weight of the head and the neck. If you have an extra pillow or an extra block or bucket or whatever it is, you can always bring that underneath the head and just relax there. And if you're extra lucky and have a bolster, you can always just put it underneath the whole upper body and just really enjoy being super supported here. So again, a couple options to make yourself as comfortable as possible while experiencing just the right amount of discomfort. Try to stay a little bit active through that left foot. So if the heel was starting to kind of splay out towards the left side of the mat, see if you can just turn it so that it's pointing up towards the sky. So we went from stretching the front of the hips to now the back of the hip. We're getting into all the areas. Now, if this is a posture that really doesn't work for you, really doesn't feel good, there is an option to do this, something similar on the back. You can just, I'll demo that while you're sitting in your You can come onto your back and just do like a figure 4, thread the needle. Make sure, again, toes are flexed or pointed. And then just pull the left thigh in towards the body. You'll get that same similar sensation of stretch through the outside and back of the right hip. So if being on your front side is not nice for you, it's not good, then that's the option that you can take. Take one more inhale here, wherever you are. And then we'll exhale to push yourself back up to a seat. Just roll on over to the outside edge of that right foot. Come back through to tabletop. And then step the left foot forward. Heel toe that foot over towards the right side of the mat. And then lowering the heel, the shin down. Again, foot is flexed or pointed or something in between called a floint. Getting our both sides of the pelvis parallel to the floor here so that you're not shifting over to the left side. You're coming up onto that back knee here. And then just walk yourself forward. Relax. You have all of your options for whatever you need to get into that shape. Finding that stillness. In any style of yoga practice, the stillness is often the part that people have the hardest time with. One of the biggest challenges. But learning to find that stillness, not only in the body, but also in the mind, is one of the primary goals of the yoga practice. So you've probably often heard me say that the shavasana, the rest at the end of your practice, is probably the most important part of your yoga practice, because it's where you can find that stillness, really integrate the work that you've done throughout the asanas, through the postures, into the body and in the mind. And that is when you become prepared for the next step of your journey. One last inhale here. And then on the exhale, we'll slowly walk ourselves out of this posture, moving any props out of the way that we need to. Shift over onto the left side of the hip. And then we'll just turn to face the side of the mat here, sending legs out nice and wide. I'm going to do a really quick time check here. Okay, perfect. Now, again, this is where you want your cushion or your blanket that we were sitting on at the beginning of practice. Just take that and press it up underneath the sit bones so that the hips are tilting forward just a little bit. That'll allow you to get a little bit more space through the hamstrings here. You can flex the toes just gently towards the sky. Now, feet can be any distance apart that feels comfortable for you. And now usually I tell you to get really nice and tall and then come forward with a flat spine, but tonight you're not going to do that. You're going to really just enjoy that rounding, that flexion of the spine. So just roll your head forward and then just start to walk your hands out wherever they go. Just enjoying that stretch through the whole back of the neck, between the shoulder blades. If you want a little bit of extra support here as well, you can take your block and put it underneath your forehead. Or if you have like a pot and a cushion, you can put the cushion on top of your pot, and that will give you a little bit more height. But you don't need any of those things if you don't have them. See if we can engage and press down through the thighs just a little bit here. See if you can root the backs of the thighs into the ground. How does that change the sensation that you're feeling here? Take one last big breath into the back. Really open up between the shoulder blades, through the ribs. And then exhale. See if you can sink just a little lower here. Find a bit more space. Inhale one last time. And then exhale, start to roll the self. Very slowly walk yourself back up to a nice tall seat here. You can grab the backs of the thighs, bend the knees, and just pull them very gently together using the strength of your arms. Come off of your block here. Actually, no, let's stay on here. Stay on these here. We're going to cross the left knee in front and then take the right knee over top. Sorry, I think I switched up my legs here. Right knee comes on the bottom, left knee comes on over top. You can stay here and just bring hands together, palms together, forearms together. Or you can take the left arm, crossing it over the right, working to bring palms together into like eagle arms here. Either way, you want the elbows up at about face height, just about shoulder height. Inhale here, and if you want to go a little bit further, you can stay here if this feels fine, if this feels great. Or you can exhale to fold the upper body forward over the knees, rounding the spine again. The weight of the upper body on that top leg creates a little bit more stretch, a little bit more sensation through the hips. But if that really doesn't feel good on the knees in any way, then just back it off. But again, the option is always to stay here. Breathing the elbows up nice and high. One last inhale. Then exhale to unwind everything, release, stretch it all out. And then we'll do it the other way. So left thigh comes underneath right. Right arm goes over top of left. Or hands just come together here. Again, if you're going to go with the forward fold, inhale to bring the elbows up really nice and high. Get a nice, real, like deep stretch behind the shoulders and then the upper back. And then just drop the nose in towards the chest, round the spine, pull the belly in, fold forward here. Keep feeling both sides of your hips rooting equally into the mat. And again, you might feel more on one side than the other, just depending on where you hold more tension. One last inhale here. And then exhale to come back up and just release it all. Unwind. Now you can come off of your cushion or your block, whatever you had. You could take that cushion now, put it at the top of the mat if you'd like. Come on to the back of the seat. Bring your blanket with you. Maybe dim the lights if you haven't got them there already. Just spread it out over the middle of the body. Coming into our Shavasana here, our final resting pose. So hands resting by the sides, feet relaxing out towards the corners of the mat. If you feel like you need a little bit more and you don't want to end here, I want to be respectful of your time though, so I think it is 9 o'clock now, but I'll just let you know that you can take arms up overhead, reaching toes nice and long in front of you. Cross the right foot over top of the left, and then start to kind of banana yourself. So hands come over towards the left side of the mat, feet reach over towards the left, kind of in like a, yeah, you're either banana or you're reclined crescent stretch here. You can take a few breaths on either side, really stretching out the side of the body. But if you feel like you're good and you're done, you can just come to your Shavasana. And just enjoy your last moments, whatever you need to take here. So it's your practice, this is your time. Wherever you are, I just want to say thank you so much for joining. I hope that you maybe learned a little something new tonight and that you take some time to feel grateful to yourself, give yourself some gratitude for taking the time to join. Be excellent to each other. Good night.